Welcome to another interesting part of the SpongeBob only playthrough, much more interesting than Sand Mountain, I assure you. We're gonna head on over to SpongeBob's Dream. So we're finally in the part of the game where I expect us to not only have the bubble ball, but also the cruise bubble, meaning that things are pretty dicey at this point. There's a lot we have to do to get around, even just get around levels for the most part, when you combine that with the fact that we're also trying to not play as other characters. We can actually do a good amount of stuff in SpongeBob's Dream. There's really only one obstacle, actually. Problem being, as you can imagine, Sandy's Dream is kind of an issue. More than anything, the problem is, well, two things. First, the biggest one. As far as I know, there's no way to actually get into Sandy's Dream without becoming Sandy immediately. It's a unique sort of situation where just entering Sandy's Dream will turn you into Sandy immediately. You don't play as SpongeBob and then turn into Sandy at the bus stop. I don't know why they did it that way. Secondly, however, I don't have a way of actually getting anywhere even if I am playing as SpongeBob there. Those of you that are particularly familiar with the work done by a variety of speedrunners, Collage, Shift, etc., may know that you can actually do a sponge glide there and get to the end of the slide. Problem being that we can't do the cruise boost as mentioned before, so we can't actually get there anyways. Thankfully, we can actually get around the entirety of the dreamscape without a problem. Not just because we don't actually need the cruise bubble available to do it, but also because we'll just skip it so aside. One thing that we actually are expected to have the bubble ball for, the only thing we expect to have the cruise bubble available for, I suppose, is actually the bouncing ball spatula, which we'll get without any kind of problem. But we'll save that for later. For now, we're actually going to go backwards a little bit, save ourselves a little bit of time. Keeping in with the theme of not paying clams for anything, we're gonna skip a little bit and head straight over to Mr. Crabtree. This part is actually fun. I had fully realized the potential of playing this game at 50% speed with save states. I decided to show off a little bit. This isn't actually as bad as you might think to do with free underwear without the cruise bubble on console. I have done it on console multiple times. It's actually reasonably fun challenge as well, having to destroy all enemies without any ranged attacks, especially because you actually have to use the fodders as your tool for destroying the shields of the slicks. But more than anything, it's just destroying a bunch of enemies. I do take slightly longer than I need to because I destroy some more enemies than I need to, partially because I'm having fun, but I also decided that I would like to actually make all of the Krabby Patty platforms appear before I even destroy any of the duplicated charms. That's partly just because I felt like it, and partly for actual practical reasons. I don't know why I one-shotted that slick there, by the way. It's baffled me greatly. But there's the matter of how you can only, as before, get to the slick's shield if you use a fodder to it. So I don't want to destroy the fodder spawner until I've actually destroyed all the slicks and destroyed their spawner. Even still, I take things a little more slow than I need to. In any case, something I always did really appreciate that you can see in this area. I don't think you see it anywhere else, actually. I'm pretty sure this is the only room in the entire game where it ever appears. But the lasers, whatever you want to call them, that the triplicate enemies, I can't remember the name, make, are actually blocked by the slick. You can actually hide behind the slick to not get hurt. It's always a very nice detail in my mind. You also notice that I love taking advantage of the fact that these patties are bouncy. If you jump at the right time, they'll actually bounce you up like a spring, because they'll add the upwards velocity of the patties piece and you jumping. In any case, I decided it's finally about time we actually get rid of the enemies, and I destroy all the spawners without too much regard actually for how many fodders are left for destroying the slicks, but all turns out reasonable anyways. If I got particularly creative, I probably could have destroyed a slick at some point by jumping up above and using a bubble bounce. I might even be able to destroy one of the triplicate enemies by doing that. I'm not quite sure. I've never tried it. For some reason, I decided it would be fun to experiment by collecting a... collecting a spatula and simultaneously talking to somebody right there. But that's a thing that occurs in the game normally, so I don't know why I thought it was going to happen. It was interesting. So we're going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to use a glitch that Colud found, if I'm not mistaken. They called Slide Slowdown. This is the only application I have this glitch in this entire playthrough as I'm aware. It has some strange effects, and I have no idea why it happens. So, you double jump on this slide here, against that wall, and suddenly we move really slow. Why? Don't know. It just kind of happens. And we're still really slow when we reload another level as well. Eventually, one day we'll get to this box, but there are some things that are slightly changed when you're like this. Namely, things don't really apply momentum to you anymore. I don't know why. Notice that we don't actually get knocked off to the side whenever we jump out of these boxes, but we have control over ourselves the entire time. So we can use the height we get from the box, as well as the height we get from Bubble Bash, so you'll get enough height to pick up that spatula. Ta-da! Something that I actually originally intended to do on screen, but decided not to do, in the interest of not wasting time, was jumping around in the background of Mr. Crab's dream, and climbing the money piles, because you can actually get pretty high on those if you just decide to try it out and have a little bit of fun. I guess I decided it would be more reasonable to not waste time doing something like that. So even not wasting time, since you can't actually do anything insane in this dream, I just skip it entirely. I decided to do this. Another nice trick to actually skip having to pay a clam. Look at that. Boom, another spatula. And as it was with Sand Mountain, there's really nothing interesting at all actually to Squidward's dream. There's actually nothing interesting here to do at all. We just run across this part like normal.
Don't worry, Mr. Krabs.
Because it's just a challenge where you do the usual walking around and jumping across platforms. So, because of that, I don't think I'm actually gonna continue saying anything across the entirety of this because it would just be filler commentary. So I think I'll let you guys watch the rest of this if you are so inclined. You know, it's just normal footage of gameplay. And I'll leave it up to you to skip to the next part or just watch this. Next part will be Kelp Forest, which is actually reasonably interesting as well. I think it's actually a pretty fun one. Not as brief as this, but just like this area here, we have to worry about the fact that the game expects us to have a lot more abilities than we actually have now, in addition to playing as Patrick in that particular area. So, this is in the next part, where we explore Kelp Forest to a decent degree of success, actually, despite some very, very heavy limitations placed on us. I'm kind of proud of that area, to be honest. Oh, there's also the fact that I have to go through Patrick's stream. I forgot to go through Patrick's stream both initially in the footage and in this commentary. I'll end up eventually doing that too. But, as you guys can probably imagine, there's nothing we're going to do in Patrick's stream that is normally a thing that we wouldn't normally do in a normal playthrough of the game. So there's nothing to say about that either, really. Aside from the fact that I get bored at one point and just decide to run away from Patrick until the game wraps around. But that aside. See you then in the next part.
Not so fast, Spongebob.
Very well, sir.
Very well.
You're holding it.
You did it! Here is your reward.